it should be. AKA J Cass, better known now as who? Trucker J, man. I'm gonna wait till some people get in here this evening. We gonna talk about a real serious situation that happened in Iraq. You know what I mean? And real ugly situation. You know what I'm saying? First off, I want to say a prayer for that baby girl, man. You know what? I need this camera this way. I need more part of yourself. I need more, a wide spectrum here. Prayers. Let's bring that back. Come on, man. What the fuck's wrong with him? Stop playing. Let's go. We got one person in the building. Hopefully, some more people are coming in the building. But the one thing I want to say, a 13-month-old child, that the car was shot at 50 times, and not one of those bullets hit that child, man. One more time. There's a baby in the back seat, man. You know, I try to let a story play out before I run my mouth. So from what I gathered, Gabryel Ayers, she was having an internet war for months, and she flirted with death. And remember I told you, J Cass might be tough and all this stuff. Let me move this back. I might be tough or what have you. But one thing I do respect is the way of the world. You heard? The atmosphere. In this day and age, see, back in my time, even though sometimes kids did get harmed, it was a clause when you was in the streets. Even though the streets have no rules. No women, no children. No exceptions. There's no going around it. In between it, the op is right there, and there's a woman and a baby present, you stand down. That's the cloth I'm cut from. Now, yes, were there some demons back then where they assassinated the whole family just because of the father's actions? Yes. But see, we in 2026, and these youngsters been on demon time for damn near 15 years. They don't care if grandma's in the wheelchair, granddaddy with the cane. They don't care if the little kids is around at the playground. They gonna let it air. Let's bring it back. Remember that movie Heat? Lord have mercy. So now, the details that I gathered, right? That the mom was in the internet war, and she threatened to post somebody's dead brother or something like that. Oh, I'll post your dead brother in his casket. Now you don't disrespect the dead, man. That's flirting with death. Jay Cass wouldn't even do that. And I know I'm tough. You don't play with people like that, man. You don't play with people's family members like that, man. You respect the dead. This girl was on the internet threatening to post somebody's dead family, man, in their casket. Then the boyfriend, what kind of streets is he in? He survived, right? But his stupid ass posted the Addy. Since when, in this day and time, you a gangster that you post the Addy, bro? You post exactly where you at, knowing that you got precious cargo in the back seat. You got your baby girl in the back seat, along with your lady, but you got precious cargo in the back seat. That by the grace of God, God must got something planned for this little girl, because she's not gonna have no memories of her mom. And see, this what helped Jay Cass, cause I lost my mom young, but I didn't lose her at 13 months. I lost my mom at 10 and a half. So I used to say, well, damn, at least I got 10 and a half years with my mom. This baby girl only got 13 months. She's not gonna have no fucking memories because of these savages. Now, at the end of the day, there's two violations here. The mom was going back and forth with whoever on the internet, threatening to post somebody's dead loved one in their casket. Now that's what I call flirting with death. Once you cross that line, there's a point of no return. Am I right or wrong? Then you got the boyfriend going through whatever he's going through in the streets, right? And Jay Cass loved to share stories about my street endeavors and things that I had to deal with. You post your Addy with your baby in the back seat. But here's more. Let's fast forward, because they talk about the situation right about there. Pardon
this game.
Commercials, pardon the commercials.
You're not ready for it.
The 27-year-old man who had been driving the car. But the thing is, for the nature of this incident, there was no way to control where those bullets went. Gabryel, who may not have been the intended target, ended up taking the worst hit. Despite the efforts of medical staff at OSF Little Company of Mary Hospital, Gabryel succumbed to her injuries. She was pronounced gone at the hospital. Rico survived his injuries and is expected to recover physically. Shortly after,
Of course, this bozo would survive his injuries, right? The one that posted the Addy with his family in the car. Make this shit make sense, man.
Someone made a post writing, "They just tried to end my cousin. God got him though. Rico Suave, love you, still here." The post confirmed what investigators already knew, that Rico had survived a targeted attack. People who lived in the area who knew Gabryel, or who were just tired of the violence that had been plaguing Chicago for years, spoke out. After Gabryel's passing, her old social media post from November 21st, 2025
Pay attention, folks.
resurfaced. Gabryel had made a post. She was going to post someone's deceased brother in a casket on her page. The post sparked heated exchanges in the...
Stop right there. I'm going to read what it says. Now let me post her dead ass brother in casket on my page, and she got laughing emojis, man. Let me tell you something, B. You don't play like that, man. That's an automatic death sentence right there. This girl threatened to post somebody's family member dead in a casket. And that's not all. She says some other shit too.
Comments. A woman questioned whether Gabryel would actually post it, warning that Rico and someone else were going to handle it. She also asked if Gabryel's people were getting dragged out of a car going on a mission. Gabryel replied, saying that her brother got left on a hit. That same day, Gabryel had also posted saying she didn't care about anyone posting her address because she was moving. Now, looking back at these posts after what happened to Gabryel, people started connecting dots. The exchanges weren't just casual online arguments, they involved references to violence, retaliation, and threats. But here's the thing. While people were looking at Gabryel's social media history, they were also looking at Rico's timeline, and what was found raised even more questions. On February 14, 2025, almost a full year before the incident, Rico had made a post that painted a concerning picture of his relationship with Gabryel. He posted about texting Gabryel to FaceTime him with their daughter, and when she finally called after 3 hours, he said she was getting messed up. He wrote that if anyone even played like that, he was going to put 300 rounds all across them and her. The post drew responses from people in the comments. Gabryel herself had responded, posting, "You take me down, you know I'm coming back." Someone commented, telling Gabryel to come get the weapon. Then there were other comments that were even more direct. Someone tagged Rico and wrote, "We finna end her," and Rico replied, "She thinks it's a game." In other responses, he wrote, "She's counting her days. She will not get a second chance to do this." Now, the disturbing part is what these posts suggest when you look at them in the context of what happened a year later. It raises some unsettling questions. Him stating that she wouldn't get a second chance to do this, and the incident occurring just days before Valentine's. How did Rico survive those number of shots if he was actually the target? So was he really involved in planning something against her, or was he caught up in something else entirely, something that had nothing to do with their relationship and everything to do with street conflicts? On December 27, 2025, Rico had posted, "Long live 3ski. Consequences happen every time your name is mentioned." The timeline gets even more concerning when you look at what happened in the days leading up to the incident. On February 3, 2026, Rico posted, "You cowards, free Marley, free Demon." That post seemed confrontational. Gabryel's final post was on February 3, 2026. She reposted something that read, "I stay humble cause I've seen people laugh at somebody, then turn around and become the same thing they joked about." At 5:58 p.m. on February 4th,
She says she stays humble, right? You heard this. She stays humble because she's seen somebody laugh about something. Laugh about a situation and become what they laughed about. So now she up there threatening to post somebody's dead loved one in a casket. Violation. Even J Cat. Let me tell you something, man. I'm 6'5". I know I get busy. There is no way that I will post my ops family member in a casket unless I'm ready to die. Unless I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about the world. I'm ready to get it in. I'm crashing out. Because let me tell you something. When you do that, there's people that love that person. That person has kids, family, a mother, a uncle, a aunt, grandma, granddad, sisters and brothers, nephews and nieces, cousins. You don't cross that line. And then for this dumbass that's supposed to, let me share a story about Jay Cass. When Jay Cass was in the street and I had beef, I had multiple whips. There was a time for a year, my wife and kids, we couldn't ride in the same car together. Because I played the game how it was supposed to be played. We couldn't ride in the same car together in that town. You get what I'm saying? I made sure that they were safe. And I stayed in that main whip that I was burning down, driving through the hoods and all that, doing my 1-2. So if they is gonna spark something up, it's gonna be the whip that I'm in, not the whip that my family is in. Let alone this bozo don't know street protocol. You gonna give that Addy with your baby girl in the back seat? Make it make sense. So obviously he don't know nothing about the streets. He don't have no kind of street ethic. You post, I can't get over this. And by the grace of God, none of those bullets hit the baby girl. You know that was nothing but God, man. That was nothing but God. That was nothing but God. So like I said, in this situation, you got two violations, man. He running his mouth on some other type of time. And she threatening to post a dead family's member laying in a casket. Now, is it fair to say, audience, which I don't see no comments or nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think there's anybody in the comment. Let me see. Is it fair to say that she caused her own demise? Bro. What he said? He said, bro, I'm the one of the two. I don't know what he's saying. I can't even see that shit. It don't matter how many people are viewing. They coming and going. So if you a troll, I don't know what to tell you. What he said? 3 people watching? Okay, so what? Listen, bro, we talking about a real situation here, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what we talking. We talking about a woman that lost her life because of internet beef. A stupid ass, dumbass baby father that posts the Addy with his 13-month baby in the back fucking seat. Let's get to some real stuff. If you want to troll, you got plenty of other channels to go to. Shit like this need to be addressed, man. Where is these youngins OGs at? Because I know when I was coming up, if there's a woman and a child and your op in the middle, I was told you have to stand down by my OGs. You heard? You're not supposed to, there's no green light when there's a woman and a child. Now, in this certain situation, the woman was involved with the beef. So I understand why they wanted to take her head off. But did they know that the baby was in the back seat? Because then if they did, even though the mom was supposed to get it too, they were supposed to stand down, my G's. See, I done made it out the streets. I done been through the bullshit. I knew when I had a situation, my family and I couldn't be in the same car. You heard? You know what I'm saying? And there's not too many viewers right now, but on my last live, I had 18K views in 3 hours. I'm not worried about views. I'm worried about who is your OGs. That's the moral of the story here. Who's teaching these little demons, man? Nobody's teaching them. Because all the OGs are either dead or in jail, man. There's no way in hell, if I got beef with somebody, and I know he got his lady and his kid in the car, that I'm going to get active. There's no way. I'm going to stand down. But see, these kids nowadays is raised with no moral compass, no inner soul. They don't care. So my advice to you, general public, if you outside, you better know the consequences of your actions. For you females out here, because they said they was coming for her man, right? That's what they say, that they was aiming, they was gunning for him, right? But she ended up dying. You better know who you lay and play with, or you might end up like Gabryel. Even though they saying, because of her trolling on the internet, it's part of the beef why they wanted to air her ass out too, man. Rest in peace to her. You better know who you playing with out here, man, because these streets is dangerous. I'm glad I've been out the streets 12 years. That ain't that long. Just 12 years. 12 years I've been removed from the streets, man. And it's been the best sleep. I've been getting the best sleep ever. You hear me? Where I could just go out in my front yard right now. It's nighttime. It's brick outside too. I don't even know if I want to take y'all outside. It's cold out there right now. It gets cold in Atlanta. I'm not from here. I'm from New York. And I lived in CT for a stint of years. But so I'm used to fucking snow up to here. Like it get cold down here, but they don't get the snow. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy that the baby girl didn't get hurt, man. And it's sad, like it's sad. They ran down on this car like Heat. Remember the movie Heat back in the day with Robert De Niro and them? Look how they ran down on this car, man. 50 shots. Have you ever been in a shootout? Have some of y'all ever been in a shootout? J Cass been in a few shootouts. Let me, you know I like to share real stories. I'm part of so. Let me take a sip of this water. I'm gonna tell you about the shootout I was involved in with no gun. So I'm hanging with my crew, right? This was back in like 1993. Yeah, I want to say 93, 94, or 95, something like that, right? I'm out with my homie. We at the local spot. You know how they rent out the halls when somebody throw a party, they throw a DJ in there. You know what I mean? And all the local people pop up. I didn't know my homie Keith, my homie Keith, he from the Brook. This is in Danbury, Connecticut, if anybody's familiar with DB. You got the Brook, you got the Ridge, and you got Beaver Street. So the Brook was in it with Beaver Street. Now I just started hanging with Keith, like, you know what I'm saying? So we go to the local joint. We go inside. We had a little good time or whatever. And then towards the end, my car was like parked up against the wall. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, this nigga came, I think he had a ooh-wop. Pop, 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 pop. All you see is sparks hitting off the wall. I'm ducking. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? My man Chewy, he didn't come with me, but we all rode there together in different cars. He over my hood like this. Bah, bah, shooting back at the dude. I'm like, man, I'm out. Hit the gas. I look, I'm dragging my homie Keith up the street. I'm like, yo. So now we get back to the Brook. And the story's starting to unfold. Now you gotta remember, that was like the second time I went out with my homie, like out. So I'm heated. I ain't got my hammer at home. So he got twin brothers, right? So I'm like, yo, what the fuck, man? I'm like, yo, man, you got me in some shit I don't even know about. These niggas know my face. This is why they say Be careful with the company you keep, because your circle will surely hurt you, right? So I'm like, yo, let me bring this closer. I'm like, yo, you got me, you got me in some shit. I don't even know who I'm around. Blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And so his brother started running his mouth like, yo, man, chill. It ain't that serious. I said, yo, what the fuck you mean chill? It ain't that serious. I said, yo, you got me into some shit that I don't even know about, bro. So me and him was about to scrap. Keith like, yo, chill, y'all calm down, blah, blah. So that's the first time when I was in a shootout with no gun because of the circle I was in. I can't even see, yo, the many people in here is zero. But like I said, the other day it was like 19,000 views I had. So I just want to talk about this, man, because this is a sad story right here. This is real sad, man. And then that these kids is on this type of time. I don't know. But here more.
Someone tagged Rico and wrote, "We finna end her," and Rico replied, "She thinks it's a game." In other responses, he wrote, "She's counting her days. She will not get a second chance to do this." Now, the disturbing part is what these posts suggest when you look at them in the context of what happened a year later. It raises some unsettling questions. Him stating that she wouldn't get a second chance to do this, and the incident occurring just days before Valentine's. How did Rico survive those number of shots if he was actually the target? So was he really involved in planning something against her, or was he caught up in something else entirely, something that had nothing to do with their relationship and with street conflicts? On December 27, 2025, Rico had posted, "Long live 3ski. Consequences happen every time your name is mentioned." The timeline gets even more concerning when you look at what happened in the days leading up to the incident. On February 3rd, 2026, Rico posted, "You cowards, free Marley, free Demon." That post seemed confrontational. Gabryel's final post was on February 3rd, 2026. She reposted something that read, "I stay humble cause I've seen people laugh at somebody, then turn around and become the same thing they joked about."
Real
At
ironic,
5:58
right?
p.m. on February 4th, 2026, just hours after the incident that took Gabryel's life, Rico posted, "Don't put me last knowing I'd be the first one to risk it all for you."
You know what's crazy? I got that same whip sitting outside right now, Alfa Romeo, man. They did a drive by in one of the fastest cars on the road. That didn't go fast, man. So that's why they got away, because that joint got some gears in it. You heard? I think it's only like it's crazy. It's made in Italy, and it's like it's either a 6 cylinder or something like that. It's not, but the joint it goes. You hear me? I remember one day on the interstate, I had a joint at like 160, and it was going with ease. That's that with that Italian engineering.
The post came approximately 4.5 hours after the incident. Was it a message? Was it directed at the people responsible? A message that he was still standing and still ready to risk it all? The investigation into Gabryel's passing is still ongoing. No arrests have been made, and investigators are still working to identify perpetrators and determine the motive behind the attack.
And they got away. Broad day shooters, and they got away, man. Put it in the comment section, and they got away. Moving on, because I'm just gonna move along. I'm gonna move on from that. The baby girl survived. She didn't get hit. The scumbag father survived posting the Addy. The mom lost her life. Rest in peace to Gabryel Ayers, if I'm saying her last name right. Prayers, much prayers to the family. She didn't deserve that. Whether she had an internet beef or whatever.